Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patty. I go by Pattymac Makes everywhere online. In today's video I am going to share with you a handful of items that I recently picked up to help me with my quilting, and I got all of these things on Amazon. I should tell you before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's video that I am, like everybody else on YouTube, an Amazon affiliate. And what that means is if you go through one of the links that I provide you that will be down in the description or on my website, if you use the link and you buy something, then I would get a small commission from that purchase. It doesn't cost you anything, but by gosh, by golly, it sure helps out the channel, and I sure do appreciate it. Okay, so Amazon, we all have mixed feelings about using Amazon, and you know, I'm the same. What I will say is that it's kind of amazing. I don't know how they do it. I have no idea how it works. It is a feat of modern engineering marvel that I don't even begin to know how to figure out how it works. But what I will say is it pretty much has everything. Okay, so what did I get? I got a couple of things. I've got a couple of different quilt rulers, and I got a beautiful, beautiful book, and I got the most inexpensive item, which is a brand new color wheel. I have a video that I made back in the fall where I showed a super basic color wheel that came inside of a quilt planner that I had. Somebody sent that to me. So it was like the super most basic ever color wheel. But I think it's a good beginner's place to start. But I wanted something that had a little bit more to it. And so I found the item that I'm going to show you. So this is the color wheel that I picked up. And I mean, I like it because it spins. So it really helps to isolate what you're looking at. And it has two sides. It has the front side and it has the back side. And with the back side, it lets you pick complementary, tertiary, and what was the other one? Has a lot of things actually. So you can use it to help you pick complementaries, split complementaries, triadic color schemes, tetrad color schemes. Oh, two different kinds of I don't know what the difference is there. It's got tetrad on there twice. Oh, different parts of the wheel. Interesting. It does more than I thought. But it's really nice also because it gives you not just the pure color, so the pure hue, it also breaks it down into shades and tints. And that's super helpful. It's all helpful. Let's be real. Picking coordinating colors can be difficult. So I thought I wanted a little more help than I could get from that super basic color wheel, and I got this one. And how to get my notes. Okay, so this color wheel was $8.14, and I really like it, and I will do an upcoming video on how to use it and how it works and how I use it specifically for picking color combinations for quilt blocks, because you know that can be a little bit tricky. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just flip the camera and put you on the tabletop, and I'll just show you the items and I'll talk to you about them. So let's do that now. Hold on. Okay, here's everything laid out on the table, and you can see that it's the color wheel, and we just talked about that, so I'm going to move it out of the way. But you can see I've got two fairly large quilt rulers and a beautiful book. So let's talk about the rulers and why I got them, and I'll show you a little bit closer up how they look. This is a 12.5 by 12.5 square quilting ruler from Creative Grids, and it was kind of expensive. The bigger these squares get, the more expensive the ruler is. This particular one was $32.85, and I got this one because I have a pretty big collection of smaller ones, and I use those for squaring up, primarily for squaring up half square triangles, and I wanted something large to help me with squaring up the full-size blocks. And recently I've really liked the 12.5-inch block. That's like a super, it's a really flexible size, in other words. You can do a lot with a 12.5-inch block. And so I wanted the large ruler to square that stuff up. And it's nice enough that you can use it for several sizes. It's really well marked. And I have actually used it for trimming even just smaller straight cuts. And I like it. I am a, what's the word I'm looking for? An absolute convert and fanatic for creative grids. I think in quilting, you have to find the tools that work best for you, the things that you like. We all like different things. And so there's never one right answer. It's always what's right for you. And so for me, the creative grids all the way. So anyway, I got this. I think I'm done with the square rulers at this point. I have a pretty good collection. So I think I'm done for a while. I hope anyway. Seriously, they have these things in so many sizes. The next quilting ruler that I picked up is this really crazy looking thing, and it's called the Circle Savvy Ruler. And it is it's a specialty ruler, and it's for cutting curves and specifically to make what they call drunkard's path. I don't know why it's called that. I'm not really sure. I don't drink, so drunkard's path is kind of an odd thing for me to like making, but there you have it. I saw this ruler used on a video with Kimberly of Fat Quarter Shop and the designer from A Quilting Life, and Sherry. Sherry had a really pretty mini, like a wall hanging that she made using this. And she has a free pattern, and the free pattern is on the Fat Quarter Shop website. So I went ahead and got the free pattern, and it did have a paper template that you could use. So I cut that out, and I made what I could make. And hold on, I'll show you what I did. This is the block that you're going to create, and it's on a curve, and so it's the two pieces. And you know, I did a pretty good job on it, but it's not, you know, it's not perfect. So I did that one, and then I cut 4 more. And here's the piece. Oh God, there's my washer. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That washing machine, I'm so careful how I load it. And it always still gets out of balance. But anyway, it is what it is. It's laundry day. I'm doing the sheets and the blankets, and they're heavy, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, let's talk about the block. So this is the block that I made, and you can see, like, I missed my seams over here, but I felt like the center was more important. So, you know, this is obviously because using the paper template that I have, I didn't cut it quite right, and there were issues. So I was like, if I'm going to make this, I want the right ruler. And I tell you, I'm in love with working on these, because I mean, that is impressive looking, isn't it? So I don't know how to use it. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to go back to that video and look at it again, and I definitely want to make Sherry's wall hanging because I thought it was gorgeous. And somehow you use one of these to cut the circle, and then you use a different one to cut the outer, so the inner and the outer. And I don't know which is which. I haven't gotten that far. I mean, you can see it's still in its packaging. I haven't even opened it. But anyway, I would have gotten this from Fat Quarter Shop, but she's out. And, you know, we're just in this weird space with the deliveries and the supply chain and all of that stuff that I don't know when she'll get another one. So I went ahead and got it. I'll tell you, if you get one, these are all slits. And so it's not like a solid, like that big square. So you have to be careful with how you handle it. You don't want to mess it up or have any of these break, especially for the price. because it was $43.99. I don't remember if I told you that or not. It was expensive. So anyway, the Circle Savvy. I'm super excited about doing some work with that, and it's interesting because it came in, and then what new project videos came up last week, but over on Missouri Star, they did a new triple play where all three of the ladies made their own projects that used the Drunkard's Path. Now, they have their own template setup that they sell. But for that one, you have to buy a small and a large, and it's separate pieces. With this, it's all one piece, and I mean, you can see, you can do gobs of sizes. And I really like the flexibility of being able to do several things. So, anyway, that's what that is, the Circle Savvy ruler. The last item that came in this bundle is this beautiful book, and it's called Quilt Recipes. And I will tell you, I love books. I spend so much of my life online, you know, looking at videos and Pinterest and, you know, getting inspiration and reviewing new collections and just trying to get a handle on what's going on within the profession. And it can be a lot of time online. And so for me, it's enjoyable to have an actual book that I can read from a printed page and to you know, feel in my hands. I like to feel the paper. And with this book, this cover, I don't know what they did to print it, but it's so nice. It's so soft. It is beautiful to hold. So the tactile experience of having a book, it just will never be anything that can be matched by the digital. Now, I love the digital. It is convenient as heck. Okay, don't get me wrong. But a book is really special. And so this book to me was really special because it includes not just quilt patterns, it also has recipes. And I love to bake. I put recipes on my own website, and so it's always kind of fun for me to see another person who's working in some sort of textile arts, whether it's knitting or a fabric or whatever, who also shares recipes in their channels and blogs and so on. That is really cool to me. So when I saw this book, I was like, I have got to have this book. It is by Jen Kingwell, and she is Australian. And I will tell you, I got it on pre-order, and it's expensive. It's real expensive. It's the most I've ever paid for a book. It was $57.35. So it's a lot of money. But, you know, it's putting support out there for a quilt artist. And I think that's important right now. I know we're all on budgets, and we all want to get a deal where we can. But it is important to support people who are doing all of this work, because it's time consuming, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of expensive materials, and I think it's important to support our fellow artists financially as well as through likes and views and all of that kind of stuff. But that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. So without getting controversial, let's look at the book. It's beautiful. And I will tell you, probably, well, you wouldn't know this because I haven't really told you, but for many years of my life, I spent it as a photographer, mostly doing portrait work, small product, and for a while I was doing some knitwear, which I really, really liked. I really wanted to do knitwear photography, but I was told by somebody fairly high up in the business that it would be impossible for me because I lived in the wrong part of the country. That's how it is. There's not a lot of margin in the making of the patterns and the books and so on, and you know, they can't do all of the travel for the photo. Anyway, it's a long story. Suffice it to say, I love a good photo, and I love a really good photo of textile art, and this book is full of them. It's absolutely beautiful. It's more of like it's kind of a lifestyle book. It is a pattern book, don't get me wrong. She shows you how to make the patterns, but all of the presentation is lifestyle oriented. And I just think it's a beautiful way to show off your work. Isn't that gorgeous? And Jen, so I didn't really know anything about her before this. I still don't really know that much. I know she's in Australia. She does really interesting work, and her way of mixing and matching patterns and color is really beautiful, really beautiful. So you get like the full project, and all of this book is made using templates. And there's a close-up where you can see the quilting, and I will tell you, so I was like really into all the way this quilting is done. And I've learned, she doesn't tell you in the book, which is kind of surprising, but this is done using a xoxo machine from Baby Lock. And I'm going to tell you girls, I got to have one. I got to have that machine. So I'm going to save the YouTube pennies this year, and hopefully that's an investment I can make at the end of the year. So anyway, just, you know, she really gives you the feel of the quilts. So there's, how many patterns are in here? Let's look and see. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 quilt recipes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 recipes. So 12 quilts and 9 recipes. And I'm going to tell you guys something. This is not a beginner's book. Not even close. I would say that these are, I would say at least advanced intermediate. I always think in terms of levels as having 3 levels. So like beginner would have 3 levels, intermediate has 3, advanced has 3, and so on. I would put this at like level 2 or 3 intermediate. Probably some 2 and some 3. This would probably be like a level 2 intermediate. So it's not a beginner's book. That doesn't mean that if you're a beginner, you can't get this book and certainly enjoy it for the gorgeous inspiration. And I always think it's interesting to see how people do the quilt work. The actual quilting, that is like a whole other aspect of the art. I mean, just look at that. This is beautiful photography. I'll show you what I want to make. I love that. You know, with quilts, when you look at the patterns the designers put out, honestly, it's as much about the fabrics as it is the design. And with her, she's not using particular collections. Like most of the time when we see quilt designs, they're from specific collections. Like a lot of times the way it seems to work is you have quilt designers who are also fabric designers. So they do a new fabric design and then they make a bunch of quilt patterns to go with that new design. This is like she's using small scraps. So all of these are truly one of a kind, which I think is really cool, and it is the art of everything. Here's a little churn dash block. And see how she quilted it with the xoxo? I love that. We haven't done churn dash on the channel yet. I think that's going to be coming up. We did a shoe fly. Okay, so then she has the large quilts, and then she has a couple of pillows, or they call them cushions. And she has that one, which I think is really cool. The one I want to make, oh, actually it's 3. So this one she did, and this is considered a dog's bed, which I think is kind of cool. And let's see, let me find the picture with the dog. Oh, there's a couple actually. Let's see, wait. Here she is. Oh, isn't that sweet? So this is their family dog and her name is Matilda, but they call her Tilly. And you can see Tilly loves her little pillow. Isn't that cute? I have to tell you guys something. If you haven't like sewn or knitted or anything for your pets, you're really missing out, because they love when you make them stuff. And look at her. She loves her little pillow. You can tell they love the dog because there's so many dog photos. That's so cute. And then, oh gosh, you can see the quilting. That's xoxo. I shared in the community tab a few days ago all about, actually it's 3 cushions. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. A few days ago I shared about the xoxo machine, and if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, go out to the channel homepage, look for the community tab, and you'll see where I linked over to Nancy Zeman talking about it. So she shows this one as a cushion, but she's also got it as a placemat, which is nice. Okay, this is the one I want to make, the clopen. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. It's big, but I'm going to try it anyway. I don't know if it uses, I don't know what it uses for a pillow form. Haven't read the pattern closely enough. So the way you make that is, you go to you say, well, I want to make the clopen. So you come to the back of, it's in the very back of the book. Let me see. Yeah. So you're like, okay, I want to make this. And that's what it's called. And then you look to the very back, and then she's got templates. So you have to use the templated pieces to piece the quilt top. And yeah, you can see those. Yeah, these are small, and that number C. Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting. So, I'm going to try it. I've never made anything that complicated. So, I'm going to give myself permission to just take the time and work on it. And, she uses all different fabric. So, I'm going to go through my little scrap bin and just work from stuff out of there. But you can see like that. I mean, that is not a beginner's piece. So we'll see how I do. But she gives every piece pretty much has a template. So you would have to trace those out to make your own pattern pieces and then cut from there. So I would say it's a level 3 intermediate or even a level 1 or 2 advanced. Probably a level 1 advanced. This is why I'm going to stick to a cushion. And then she's got the recipes. And, I'm always interested in baking overseas because it is just a little bit different than what we have here in the U.S. Like I notice with Australians and English people, they're really into passion fruit. And, I don't see a lot of that in my stores here. And I especially don't see it now. But even before all of the weirdness happened, wasn't something that I would really see in our stores. And so let me find something. I think she had cupcakes that I was looking at. There's just different flavors, just different things than we're accustomed to having here. And also some of the ingredients are different. So like this is very English. So it's castor sugar, plain flour, bicarb of soda, vanilla essence. So to translate, if you don't know, like castor sugar, if it calls for castor, you want to use the castor. That's like a super fine grain sugar. They use it in baking. I learned about it watching the Great British Bake Off, and it's what I use in all of my cakes, cupcakes, some cookies, like butter cookies, I use castor sugar. For other cookies, I'll use a regular granulated because it'll hold a little better. But for anything with delicate crumb, I do use that castor sugar now. So they have that. Plain flour means all-purpose flour. Bicarb of soda is baking soda. Vanilla essence is vanilla extract. So, if you didn't know. I never like to assume that people know these things. I find the moment that I make an assumption like that, somebody doesn't know. And I don't want people to feel like they're being left out. And then here's cupcakes. And the cupcakes, they're kind of interesting. So she mixes these cupcakes, and it's flour, baking soda, cream of tartar, salt, and then a whole cup of cream, which I thought that was interesting, and eggs. So I don't know what in the world those are going to be like, but I'm going to make them and try them out. So anyway, and then you've just got this really pretty lifestyle picture of the girl enjoying the cupcake with this, picturesque kitchen with a gorgeous Smeg refrigerator. That Smeg refrigerator probably costs more than my whole kitchen, but anyway. It's a gorgeous book. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you this one. Look at that. See how she does? It's just beautiful the way she balances her color and her textures. She's got the dots, but then she puts in the stripes. It's really well done. That's not something that you can teach. That is a talent to mix and match like that. Let me find. Oh, here it is. Look at that. Isn't this cool? I mean, that's like it looks. What's the word I'm looking for? It looks very vintage, and it's sort of it's like a riff on a log cabin. And then see how she's got like smaller, like piano keys, and then the little bows, I guess you would call those, crosses, little turn dash blocks, or turn dash, yeah, that's a turn dash. And then this large strips, flying geese. So it's like a sampler. It's very interesting. She calls that one Dallas Ford. It's beautiful. So that is a gorgeous book, but it is an investment. But you are supporting an artist, and I always think that's important. And if you just want something really pretty to look at, and maybe something to stretch your abilities a little bit, it's a great book for that. So stick around, and I will report back when I've had a chance to make the clope. And when I make that, I can give you a more thorough review on the book itself, because then I'll know how it is to actually use the templates and follow the instructions. But until then, that is the book, and I think it's gorgeous. So that's the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I will tell you, those 4 items, the 2 quilting rulers, the book, and the color wheel, that was $143. So it was expensive. This is not, quilting is not a budget hobby. So, it's important to just invest in bits here and bits there, because otherwise you will go broke on it. Okay. But, what a way to go. All right, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear what item was your favorite item, and also, would you invest in any of these yourself? And of course, if you are interested in investing in them, I have links below, and I will have a blog post with better pictures of everything, kind of showing all of the stuff to you there, and I will link that when it's done. The blog post may not be ready at the time of the publication of this video. I'll just give you a, what's the word? Disclaimer. But it will be up. Okay, so that's it. I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gives you some ideas for projects and things that maybe you had not thought about. Okay, that's it. I will see you in the next video, and until then, happy quilting, my friends.